Hey guys, whether you're just starting to meal prep or a seasoned meal prepper, get it? Seasoned, like spices, pantry spices? No? Okay. Whether you're a beginner meal prepper or a seasoned meal prepper, today I'm going to be sharing with you the Pantry Kitchen Essentials I always have on hand to help you get inspired to stock up your pantry so you can have healthy, flavorful meals whenever you want and avoid those unnecessary trips to the grocery store. Hey guys, Marliese from Simply Fit Mom here, where I help you become a strong, empowered, energetic supermom and get food on the table for you and your family fast using meal prep. And today guys, I'm going to be sharing with you what I consider to be the most essential pantry ingredients that I try and have on hand at all times so that my meal prep is always healthy, flavorful, and I never get bored of what I'm cooking. And speaking of healthy, flavorful meal prep, be sure to stick around to the end of today's video, guys, where I'll be sharing with you how to get instant access to my 1-hour meal prep express guide, which is going to teach you how to prep an entire week of healthy lunches or dinners in 1 hour or less. But enough about that, guys. We'll get to that at the end of today's video. Without further ado, let's jump right in to a behind-the-scenes tour of my very own pantry, and I'll share with you everything I like to keep on hand. And for the sake of simplicity today, guys, I've broken this down into 5 categories. The first category is herbs and spices. The second category is baking goods. The third category is canned goods. Fourth category is pastas and grains. And the final category is what I call a bonus category. It's my absolute favorite category, and that is what I call my daily essentials. So things I use every single day in combination with each other. I like to have a specific area in my pantry just for those, so I don't have to go to each section to try and find them. But today we're going to start with our herbs and spices. So when it comes to herbs and spices, guys, these are what I consider to be the most essential ones, the ones I use pretty much every single week. And we're going to start with garlic powder. I swear, if I was a vegetable, I would either be a clove of garlic or an onion, because those are my 2 favorite herbs and spices, like dried onion powder and garlic powder. They're so versatile. I use them in so many different recipes, whether Italian or American or even like Chinese, Japanese cooking. Garlic is kind of that universal ingredient, so I absolutely love to have that on hand. Next, everything but the bagel seasoning. One of my absolute favorites. Everything but the bagel seasoning. You've seen me use this in previous meal prep videos. It tastes like an everything bagel, but you can put it on whatever you want. It is so transformative. For those of you who don't know, I'm gluten-free, so bagels, it's really, really challenging for me to find bagels that I can eat. So I absolutely love this because I don't need to have a bagel to get the flavor. So I use that as well. Another thing that I love to use, these things in combination together are so healthy, and it's a powerful combination. One is nutritional yeast. So if you're like me and you're dairy-free as well as gluten-free, it's just like a travesty sometimes because you're like, I just want cheese. Cheese is one of the best foods in the world. And nutritional yeast is basically the dairy-free version of cheese. It's a yellow, flaky kind of powder right here, and it tastes just like cheese. One of my absolute favorite things. And the second thing that I love to have that with is hemp hearts. Such a beautiful, healthy source of fat, and you can sprinkle them over smoothie bowls, smoothies. I put this on my eggs on toast or my avocado toast in the morning, and it just allows you to get a really healthy source of fat in your diet. Next, guys, we're just going to go through this other basket really quickly. Just like ones that I don't use every single week, but I consider to be essential in my pantry because I use them once every couple of months, I would say. So basil and dill and oregano as well. Those are 3 key things. And I absolutely also love using smoked paprika. So if you love barbecue, this is where it's at. Smoked paprika, it has this beautiful, earthy, kind of smoky, delicious sort of barbecue vibe going for it. And it doesn't even really taste like paprika in my opinion. It just kind of tastes smoky, so it's really good to like throw on burgers or chicken or fish if you want it to taste like it just came off of the barbecue. And guys, that's it for my spices and herbs. Now let's move on to baked goods. Alright guys, when it comes to baking, in my kitchen, I don't like to kind of go all out and have 18 different kinds of sprinkles and like this type of sugar and that type of sugar, and it just becomes a little bit overwhelming. And I find that when I buy all of those things, I only like use them once and then kind of toss them out because I never really use them again. So when I'm talking about Pantry Essentials, like that I use all the time, this is what I use. So as I said, I am gluten-free, so I make my own gluten-free flour mix. That is number one. I love waffles, I love pancakes, I love all of that sort of thing, and there's such great meal prep things to make as well. So it's super, super key that I have gluten-free flour, and I love storing my flour and my oats or anything where I need to like get a measuring cup in these really wide-mouthed glass jars with these lids that have a seal inside so they don't ever leak any powder. And I'll be sure to link them down below, but that's one of the things that I absolutely love, is to have glass jars with really wide mouths for baking so that I can fit the measuring cups in. Second thing that I love for baking, because again being gluten-free, I love oats. They're super, super versatile, not just for oatmeal, but I make oatmeal cookies with them. I grind up the oats and use that as oat flour in place of regular gluten-free flour in a lot of recipes as well. Two other essentials that are really, really great to have on hand, guys, because almost every baking recipe asks for baking powder and baking soda. And again, guys, if you're looking for the link to these glass jars, they're so, so handy. And again, they're nice and wide so you can fit measuring cups right inside. I'll be sure to put the link down below this video for you as well. Now guys, we're going to talk about spices. Now, I know I already did spices in the first category, but we're talking about baking specific spices. So this bag really needs to be cleaned out. Half of these I don't even really use anymore, but the ones I use the most are cinnamon, super, super huge, especially now that it's fall and it's all like warm flavors. Love, love cinnamon. And I like to keep around the flavors that go really well with my other favorite spice. So if my favorite spice is cinnamon, I like keeping around ground ginger and nutmeg as well, because combining all of those together, it's like a pumpkin spice, sort of like warm, earthy kind of vibe. And those are kind of the main three when it comes to baking that I would recommend you have on hand, because it's great for making apple crisp and apple pie and pumpkin pie and just all of those like really warm, like cidery type flavors that you want to incorporate into your desserts. They're so versatile. It can go into so many different desserts. Alright guys, for the fourth category, we are going to be chatting about canned goods. So, when it comes to canned goods, I don't tend to have a lot of them on hand, like a lot of different varieties. I tend to kind of stick with like 4 basic types of canned goods. The first thing I love to have on hand in terms of canned goods is coconut milk. Being dairy free, this is a really great alternative to add into curries, soups, anything that you really want to enrich in, like a broth, or like make it super creamy and luscious without having to add actual dairy. This is kind of my go-to substitute for that. Secondly is beans and legumes, or like red beans, black beans, chickpeas. I love, love, love hummus. So I pretty much always have chickpeas on hand to make homemade hummus. It's one of my absolute favorite meal prep recipes. And let me know in the comments below, guys, if you want me to do an exclusive video for you, like a separate video on my how to make the world's best hummus, super creamy and smooth. I would be more than happy to do that for you. Third thing is soups. I'm not a big soup person because again, they tend to have a lot of like thickeners with flour or dairy kind of hidden inside, but my fiance absolutely loves cream of mushroom soup and tomato soup, so we tend to have quite a few of cans of those on hand. And lastly, canned tomatoes. I absolutely love making my own pasta sauce. It's super simple. It's just canned tomatoes, basil, dried basil or fresh, onions and garlic, and just a pinch of salt and sugar just to kind of round out the flavors, and that's it. I find I started to save so much money when I started to make my own pasta sauce versus buying like the jarred ones. So I always have a lot of cans of tomatoes on hand, and I also love to use these as the base for curry as well. And I will link a video up here where I actually make a pumpkin curry that is to die for, and it uses these canned tomatoes as well. Now we're moving on to pastas and grains. So being gluten-free, it was really hard at first to find a gluten-free pasta that I really love, but this has been my favorite so far. It's just completely brown rice, and the brand is Thinkiata, so I'm just gonna like hold it up here, give you guys a little bit of a look. I just go to Whole Foods and get it, and what I love about it, guys, it's a huge bag. If you're gluten-free, you're gonna know this as well. Everything gluten-free is insanely expensive, but this was only $4 Canadian at the Whole Foods, so I was super excited when I found it. And I usually go through about a bag to a bag and a half of this every couple of weeks. I'm a really big pasta eater, and pasta is such a great thing for meal prep because you can make it ahead and kind of put any kind of sauce on it you want. Now, the second thing is white rice, stored in, of course, my favorite glass mason jar type storage vessels. And I love white rice because just like the pasta, it's so great for meal prep. It can go with fish, it can go with meat, it can be sauteed in different sauces and herbs and spices to give it lots of different flavors, and it fills you up. It's really great, and it's fantastic if you're gluten-free as well because it has no gluten. And lastly, guys, is our huge thing of popcorn. I love having popcorn. We do lots of movie nights at my house. So we like to get this huge one at Costco. It's just the Orville Redenbacher kernels. Rather than getting like the individual bags, we'll get this, and we have a little popcorn maker that we use on our actual stovetop. And I find we have saved so much money by buying in bulk the popcorn kernels rather than buying the individual bags, and it tastes a lot better too than doing it in the microwave. And so guys, in terms of pastas and greens, those are the three that I definitely use every single week in the kitchen and that I recommend you stock up on, especially if you're going to be starting your meal prep journey as well. And as I promised, guys, your bonus section is the kind of use daily section. So the things that I use absolutely every single day and that I combine together are my nutritional yeast, that cheese substitute, the hemp hearts, and the everything but the bagel seasoning. I have it on my eggs every single morning, and it tastes so yummy. It's like a cheesy, oniony, garlicky, delicious breakfast sandwich that I make. The other ones are honey and vanilla. I love putting that with a little bit of lemon and hot water. The lemon's just in the fridge, of course, but I put it with a little lemon and hot water, and it's this beautiful, like, soothing tea that just helps me wake up in the morning in a really gentle way. And of course, guys, as I mentioned, garlic powder. I pretty much use this in every single thing. Sometimes I'll put it with the everything but the bagel seasoning because I just want so much garlic. I know you do not want to be close to me when I be breathing out after I have my breakfast, but it is so yummy. So these things I put all on one shelf together. And now, guys, that you know what I have in every single section, if you are curious as to how I organize my kitchen pantry and tips on how to organize your kitchen pantry at home, be sure to check out this video here where I walk you step by step and give you 5 quick and easy tips on how to organize your kitchen pantry in 5 minutes or less. And of course, guys, I promised you if you stuck around to the end of today's video that I would be sharing with you how to get instant access to my 5-step meal prep express guide, where I teach you how to make an entire week of healthy lunches or dinners in 1 hour or less. So now that you have your pantry fully stocked with all of your essentials, let's put them to work and actually start meal prepping together. So the link to that is down below this video. And guys, that is it. It's just that simple. 5 simple and easy categories of pantry essentials that I use every single week or every single month that I consider to be the most essential things, especially when you are a meal prepper. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, guys, and let me know in the comments below which part of your pantry you are going to stock up on first. And that is it for today, guys. Marliese from Simply Fit Mom signing off, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys!